Hi, Mr. Recap here again. Today we dive into the second season of Promised Neverland. Spoilers alert, subscribe and enjoy. Upon further examination of the pen, Ray reveals the hidden Morse code embedded within it. Gilda presses the screen and enters the password, unlocking a note left by William Minerva. The note provides crucial guidance, directing the children to the location of their safe haven. Everyone credits Norman for leaving them the pen, recognizing that it's their key to survival. Meanwhile, demons dispatched to track down Gracefield's missing livestock are on the hunt for the children. As night falls, the group continues their journey until they're suddenly confronted by a wild demon that chases them through the forest. Don and Gilda quickly signal for the group to split into two, while Emma and Ray stay behind to protect the others. The wild demon becomes momentarily confused when it strikes an arching tree branch, giving the children a brief window to escape. After narrowly evading the demon, the trio catches their breath, only to stumble upon a deadly trap, a network of vines that ensnares anyone who falls into them, making escape nearly impossible. Ray devises a plan to lure the demon into the trap. He decides to lead the demon toward the vines, intending to trap it there and buy the group more time to reach safety. Ray sets his plan into motion, luring the wild demon into chasing him. However, his strategy is interrupted by the hunters, who are also pursuing the children. Realizing he's cornered, Ray decides to deceive the hunters, claiming that all the other children are dead except for him. Shortly after, a call whistle echoes through the forest, signaling that a child has been found. Meanwhile, Emma, determined to assess the situation, tells the group to continue moving downwind while she investigates. However, as she heads off, she collapses due to the wound on her ear reopening. Anna tends to her, and just as the situation seems dire, a mysterious figure appears in the distance and leads them to safety. Back with Ray, he continues his desperate escape from the pursuers. Eventually, he's cornered and collapses on the ground, exhausted and out of options. Just as the hunters are about to capture him, someone suddenly swoops in, lifts him up, and carries him away to safety. Ray awakens to find himself in a soft makeshift bed with a lantern beside him. Taking the lantern, he wanders until he discovers Emma sleeping in a nearby room and wakes her up. Overjoyed to see Ray again, Emma listens as he explains what happened to him and the group. They discuss the possibility that they've been rescued by Minerva's group, their hope for safety growing. Suddenly, the masked woman who saved them earlier enters to check on Emma, relieved to see her awake. She takes them to join her and her companion for dinner. However, Ray is shocked to discover that the man and woman who rescued them are actually demons, and they have no knowledge of Minerva. Emma and Ray confront the demons, demanding to know what happened to their siblings. Emma's suspicion grows, and she fears Mujika may have cooked and prepared the children for dinner. Mujika, however, remains cryptic, offering no explanation. Sonju, the male demon, steps aside, giving Emma the opportunity to run away. Ray follows her, his mind racing with confusion and fear. Shortly after, Sonju and Mujika enter the room and apologize to Emma for not providing more information. Emma, in turn, apologizes as well, thanking them for saving the rest of the children. Once everyone else is asleep, Emma and Ray seize the opportunity to ask Sonju and Mujika their burning questions. They begin by asking why the demons aren't eating them. Sonju explains that his religion imposes dietary restrictions, preventing them from consuming humans. Next, they inquire about the fate of humans 30 years ago, based on clues they've gathered from books bearing Minerva's name. Sonju's response is startling. He reveals that humans haven't been free in this world for 1,000 years and have existed solely as livestock during that time. He recounts the history of a deal struck between demons and humans a millennium ago, during a brutal war between the two species. Originally, demons hunted humans for food, but humans fought back fiercely, resulting in more demons being killed than humans eaten. The cycle of fear and hatred only deepened the conflict. To end the bloodshed, humans proposed a deal. Demons would stop hunting humans, and in return, humans would provide other humans as livestock, bred specifically for demon consumption. This agreement separated the human and demon worlds, leaving the livestock children trapped in the demon realm. Later, Sonju provides the children with directions to their destination, explaining that the journey will take 6 days. Over the course of those 6 days, Mujika teaches them about medicinal herbs, while Sonju instructs them on harvesting food, gathering materials, mapping, and using weapons like bows and arrows. The children absorb these skills, preparing themselves for the challenges ahead. When the 6 days pass, the group finally reaches the shelter. Before they part ways, Mujika gives Emma an amulet, promising that it will protect her as long as she holds it. With a heartfelt goodbye, Mujika sends them on their way. Upon entering the shelter, Emma turns on the lights, but the place is empty. However, they find a letter from Mr. Minerva, stating that the shelter is intended for the children. In the monitor room, Ray discovers a radio. This radio allows them to monitor the situation at the farms they left behind. Emma, Ray, Don, Gilda, Anna, and Nat step outside to test the radio. As they listen, the broadcast confirms that everything appears normal at Plant 1 and Plant 4. Emma, Ray, Don, and Alicia venture into a secret room where they hear a phone ringing. Emma answers it, and the voice on the other end identifies himself as William Minerva. For a moment, her hopes soar, but Ray quickly clarifies that it's a pre-recorded message, not a live call. In the recording, Minerva explains his motivations for creating the shelter. He describes how he witnessed countless children being sacrificed by demons and could no longer bear the injustice. Determined to help, he secretly established the shelter for children who became aware of the grim reality of their existence. He also reveals that he left a map titled Future hidden in the pen, which would guide them to the human world should they choose to seek it. Suddenly, an explosion rocks the shelter, knocking the two children on the late-night shift unconscious. Two armed men burst in, scouring the place in search of the kids. Unaware that the children have already escaped and hidden in the caves, the intruders continue their search. The group, now on the run, tries to evade their pursuers. However, the men drop in from holes above, cutting off their escape. In a tense moment, Emma and Ray manage to push one of the attackers down and flee through another route. Once they reach the surface, they gather the other children and order them to run into the forest. But their hopes of escape are dashed when they find the forest blocked by a group of armed soldiers. The children are surrounded with guns pointed at them, ready to pull the trigger. Unbeknownst to the children, the wild demon they encountered days earlier is still roaming the area. It suddenly attacks and kills all the soldiers who had surrounded the kids, giving them a brief chance to escape. Ray, quick to act, shoots the demon in one of its eyes, leaving it writhing in pain. Enraged, the demon resumes its pursuit, forcing the children to scatter into the darkness of the forest to evade it. Meanwhile, back at the prison, one of the demons holds a deadly flower known as the Flower of Death and considers using it on Isabella. After a heated debate with his superiors about the various options for dealing with her, the demon decides to strike a deal instead. He offers Isabella her freedom and something she desires, but only if she succeeds in bringing back all the children, whether alive or dead. After the attack on the shelter, a group of children disguises themselves as demons and ventures into a nearby town under the pretense of conducting business. Most of the townspeople are bitter and impoverished, as the nobility monopolizes nearly all the shares of human meat, leaving little for the common folk. The children take temporary refuge in an abandoned temple not far from the town, where Emma and Ray try to plan their next steps in the aftermath of the attack. The next day, Tama and another child reveal their demon costumes to the group and plead with Emma to let them join her on the trip into town. Initially, Emma objects, worried about the risks, but she reluctantly gives in when Don decides to take them along anyway. As they move through the town, an old blind demon emerges from the shadows. Unable to see the children clearly, he mistakes them for demonic youngsters passing through. He begins to pray for his kind, expressing his hope that things will improve for them and that the town will one day prosper again. In the town's slums, two demons observe their relatives' deteriorating health, fearing they won't survive much longer. One of them speculates that the children who escaped from Gracefield might still be nearby. They believe that if they can capture the children and feed them to their sick relatives, it could cure their illness and save their lives. Meanwhile, back in the forest, Toma demonstrates their slingshot method for catching gooey fish to the group. After successfully gathering their catch, the children decide to trick Emma into going into town to fetch some seasoning for their meal. Once in the market, Toma and the other child accidentally bump into the same demons who have been searching for them. Initially, the demons apologize for the encounter, but their suspicions are quickly aroused when they catch a whiff of what they believe to be human meat. However, upon inspecting the children's belongings, they find only fish. In a panic, the two children run, and the demons chase them through the town. Emma and Ray watch the pursuit from the rooftops, only to be spotted and chased by another group of demons themselves. After narrowly losing their pursuers, they jump back down to the ground and try to navigate their way back to the temple. However, they are intercepted by the original two demons who had been chasing Toma and the others. As tensions rise, another group of demons suddenly appears, holding Emma and Ray at sword point. Before the situation escalates further, another demon emerges from the shadows and swiftly slices the threatening demons in half, shocking Emma and Ray. Expecting the worst, Emma and Ray brace themselves, but the demon removes his mask and reveals his identity. The demon behind the mask is Norman. Back at the ruins, Don, Gilda, and the others are stunned to see Norman standing before them. Norman begins to explain his harrowing journey since being taken from Gracefield. Instead of being sacrificed, he was brought to a facility called Lambda, where he witnessed children being drugged, experimented on, and mutated into grotesque forms. Though he was subjected to tests himself, he managed to escape with the help of a supporter of Minerva. After his escape, Norman developed a drug capable of degenerating demons, reverting them to a primal, non-sentient state. Recalling Emma's goal of creating a safe world for the children, he began mass-producing the drug, intending to use it to exterminate the demons and build a human world free from fear. While the others express support for his plan, Emma begins to feel uneasy. Emma confesses that she doesn't want to kill the demons, believing that doing so would make them no better than the demons themselves. In the forest, Ray searches for the hideout Norman mentioned. Upon arriving, they are greeted by Cyclo, Barbara, and Vincent, Norman's adult co-conspirators, who inform him that Norman is out but will return soon. When Norman arrives, he beckons Barbara and Vincent outside before addressing his friends. As Norman introduces the drug he's developed to degenerate demons, Ray reveals that some demons, like Mujika, are immune to its effects. Intrigued, Norman questions Ray further. When Ray mentions that the demons they encountered earlier are still alive, Norman reacts with anger, especially at the mention of Mujika's name. Norman recounts Mujika's history, which stretches back 700 years. Originally, she was a savior of an outcast town, possessing the ability to turn anyone into a non-human eating demon by fusing her blood with theirs. She could also create demons with her unique composition. Her influence spread throughout the demon world, leading to a period of prosperity. However, the Demon King eventually discovered her actions and ordered a genocide of demons carrying Mujika's blood to maintain control and prevent any potential uprisings or coups. These events sparked the Human-Demon War and the promise that followed. Afterward, Mujika faded into obscurity, though unbeknownst to most, she has been on the run ever since. Norman confronts Emma, criticizing her pacifist approach and insisting that Mujika and Sonju must be eliminated to ensure his plan succeeds. Despite Emma's protests, Norman remains resolute. He explains that after he was shipped out, all the gates to the human world were destroyed. Minerva and his supporters were exterminated, and the only remaining path to the human world lies deep beneath Gracefield House. Emma, desperate to find a peaceful solution, makes a last-minute deal with Norman. She'll locate Sonju and Mujika within a week, and in return, he must halt his plan. Norman reluctantly agrees but gives them only 5 days to find the two demons. However, as Emma and the others leave, Norman reveals his true intentions. He descends to the basement and declares that his plan remains unchanged. He vows to kill Mujika and Sonju when they are brought to him, regardless of Emma's efforts. Dawn and Gilda join Emma and Ray in their mission to track down Mujika and Sonju, both to bring them to Norman and to keep the group out of trouble. Meanwhile, back at the base, Norman suffers a coughing fit, triggering memories of the night of his shipment. Norman recalls that he wasn't sacrificed on his shipment day. Instead, he was taken to a special facility where a man named Peter Ratchery greeted him. Ratchery explained that he wanted Norman to assist in his research. At the facility, Norman underwent a series of tests, answering each one perfectly. During his time there, he witnessed the horrors inflicted on other inmates. Sislo was injected with mutations, Barbara was tortured, Zazie was chained to a wall, and Vincent was subjected to head experiments. Determined to escape, Norman devised a plan. He secretly crafted a ball filled with explosives and one day triggered it, successfully breaking out of the facility. He freed the surviving inmates, including Sislo, Barbara, Zazie, and Vincent, who now serve under him. Before escaping, a dying man handed Norman a pen. Back in the forest, Emma, Ray, Dawn, and Gilda are chased by the wild demon. Ray manages to down it by shooting it in the eye, but Emma collapses from exhaustion and is nearly eaten. Just in time, Sonju intervenes and kills the demon. Relieved to have found Sonju and Mujika, the group attempts to bring them to Norman. However, their efforts are in vain as Norman and his group launch a devastating raid on the demon village. Norman's group plants a bomb in the village and spreads the drug, causing the demons to degenerate and attack each other. Chaos ensues as the village is engulfed in flames. Two young demons flee their home, and Norman personally enters the village to slaughter them. A little demon girl tries to escape Norman's wrath, desperately searching for her grandfather, the same demon who often prays for things to improve. When the grandfather returns, he finds the village in ruins. Realizing the horror unfolding, he searches for his granddaughter. The drug reaches them, and the little demon degenerates, but the grandfather remains unaffected, realizing he's a descendant of Mujika's blood infusions. Overcome with grief and rage, he tries to fight back against Norman's group. Norman, witnessing the carnage his group has inflicted, begins to feel regret. However, he steels himself and prepares for battle. Emma and Ray confront him, pleading for him to reconsider and find a way to escape without killing the demons. Overwhelmed by the weight of his suffering, Norman breaks down in tears in front of Emma. Mujika arrives and hands a glass filled with her blood to a female demon, instructing her to spread it to the others to prevent further degeneration. Barbara, initially intent on killing the demon, hesitates when she sees a reflection of herself in them and suffers a migraine as a result. Zazie charges at the demon, but Norman orders him to stop. Barbara regains her composure and declares that Norman's safety is more important than revenge. Mujika, seeing the two young demons, gives them the glass of blood before returning to the temple. Meanwhile, at the temple, Toma and Lanny rush to Ray in a panic, informing him that Phil and the other children are about to be shipped out. Unbeknownst to them, this is a trap orchestrated by Ratchery and Isabella, the newest grandma of the farms. Ratchery explains his plan to expand the Lambda drug-based development to other farms, eliminating the need for high-class facilities like Gracefield. The demon agrees to the plan, but insists that some farms remain open to provide for the commoners. Norman realizes that the transition to Lambda-style farms is happening sooner than anticipated, putting the children in even greater danger. Emma, desperate to save Phil and the others, begins formulating a rescue plan, despite Ray's suspicions that it's a trap. The little demon girl gives Emma a piece of the promised pen, which reveals blueprints of the inside and outside of Gracefield houses. The blueprints show the location of the gate to the human world, as well as a recipe for a cure to counteract the side effects of the drugs used on Norman and his friends. Empowered by this discovery, Emma, Ray, Norman, and the other children decide to return to Gracefield to rescue Phil and the 119 other children slated for shipment. However, while everyone is sleeping, Vincent secretly makes a radio call to Gracefield, with Isabella answering on the other end. Vincent leaks critical information about the children's plans, including their intention to launch hot air balloons and drop a demon-killing drug on the farms. Isabella, now fully informed, updates the farm's security to prepare for the raid. Peter Ratchery, determined to capture Norman and eliminate the rest of the children, gives the operation a green light. The children's carefully planned rescue mission is now at risk of being sabotaged from within. Meanwhile, Phil, Simon, and the other children at Gracefield are instructed to prepare for shipment. Soon after, the children from Lambda begin their infiltration of Gracefield using hot air balloons. However, the balloons are revealed to be decoys, designed to explode on impact with the ground. This distraction allows Sonji and Norman's co-conspirators to launch their attack from above. They successfully breach the facility and use smoke bombs to disorient and attack the demons inside. Vincent hacks into the network and taunts Ratchery for falling into their trap. As the demons watch in confusion, Emma sabotages the CCTV system, plunging the facility into darkness. With the lights out, Emma leads the children to the elevator while Phil cleverly distracts the breeders by scattering suitcases, causing them to trip and lose track of the children. The group reunites at the elevator, but their moment of triumph is short-lived. The breeders, armed with SMGs, surround them. Isabella steps forward, tauntingly welcoming the children back to Gracefield. Ratchery, witnessing the children's capture, demands they stand down and surrender. confident that their plan has been thwarted. As Ratri prepares to kill Emma, Isabella unexpectedly turns on him, pointing her gun at his back. The other breeders follow her lead, surrounding Ratri. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, Ratri remains defiant, confident that his backup will arrive and secure his victory. However, his confidence is shattered when the backup is intercepted by an uprising of civilians from the demon town, led by Mujika, Sonju, and Vilk. Bill, a key figure in the uprising, bursts into the elevator chamber and declares war on Ratri, vowing to end the tyranny of the ruling demons and humans. As Isabella moves to kill Ratri, he pulls out a knife and takes his own life. In his final moments, Ratri expresses regret for the murder of his brother, William Minerva, the man who had once sought to save the children. The children take the elevator down to a massive tree-like door, adorned with the owl symbol of Minerva. They insert the pen into one of the owl's eyes, and the door opens, revealing a mysterious void. As they step through, Emma, Ray, and Norman reveal their decision to stay behind in the demon world. Norman's co-conspirators join them, determined to rescue their comrades still trapped in the farms. Don and Gilda, however, choose to accompany the younger children to the human world, where they will help care for them alongside Isabella. As the doors begin to close, Phil runs out to hug Emma one last time, tearfully promising to return and rescue them if they take too long. The children who step through the door find themselves in New York City, where they are welcomed and assisted by the people there. Despite the claims of the demon world and the humans who once controlled their lives, the children finally experience the freedom they fought so hard for. They wear normal clothes, attend school, and live their lives as regular children, free from the horrors of their past. Back in the demon world, Emma, Ray, Norman, and their allies traverse barren wastelands and rugged mountain ranges. Along the way, they encounter children from other farms, rescuing them and adding to their growing group of survivors. Their journey is arduous, but their determination to save as many as possible keeps them moving forward. Finally, they arrive at the capital, passing through a war-ravaged battlefield that serves as a grim reminder of the chaos and destruction that has plagued the demon world. Mujika, with her unique ability to share her blood and transform demons into non-human eating beings, becomes a beacon of hope as she works tirelessly to create a new future for both humans and demons. Meanwhile, in the human world, many years have passed. The children who escaped to New York have grown into adults, living peaceful lives free from the horrors of their past. They attend school, pursue careers, and build families, finally experiencing the normalcy they once dreamed of.